God's created order and for all humans being made in his image and likeness. So we support traditional marriage between a man and a woman. We campaign against euthanasia, upholding the rights of the unborn child, and our stand against the current relationships and sex education. But more than ever, Judeo-Christian values are needed for our nation. The CPA, for short, aims to be refreshingly different. How? Crime. More stabbings on our streets. Even the one just up the road here just several days ago. And the 2 teenagers whose lives were lost up north. Police on the streets are only half the solution, but we aim to address the reasons behind crime. So, for example, broken families who have no father figure at home. So the youngsters turn to gangs, seeing the gang leaders as their surrogate parents. But it's Christian-based initiatives that are helping to reduce reoffending rates, and I can give more details later. Supporting of traditional marriage. £51 billion is the cost to this nation of marriage breakdown. That's £400 per adult per year. Our policies, which include a grant given to couples who are planning to attend marriage awareness sessions, followed by a grant for if they attend a child rearing session, is a help to ensure that they don't enter the institution of marriage and parenthood lightly, so that children are less likely to be involved in gangs, and parents are more likely to stay together until at least the child is grown up. Caring for the poor and the vulnerable. We aim to make universal credit work by proposing a cash advancement for benefit claimants while they await the results of their claim, so that instead of using food banks, they can shop alongside their better off neighbours, so as to promote community cohesion, and also to provide shelters with hot meals and a bed so nobody has to sleep rough on our streets. Abortion. We are the only party that is addressing this very sensitive issue. It's a tragic fact that 10 million lives have been lost in the last half century who could have contributed towards our state coffers. And this has to be set against the backdrop of an increasingly elderly population who are not being replaced. And we seek to readdress this issue. How? We aim to repeal the 1967 Abortion Act step by step, introducing non-judgmental pro-life pregnancy care services, and together with non-judgmental counselling for women and girls who have been through a termination and who seek counselling. But how will we pay for all this? Introducing a turnover tax of 5% on turnovers of at least 85 grand, which would be used to reduce business rates and so make things fairer for our high street shops. See how many shops have been closed in the last few years because of crippling business rates. Let's get multinationals to pay more of their fair share. And also, secondly, for an example, we would stop aid, but only to countries that persecute Christians, as well as those countries that promote abortion. Christians need a voice now more than ever, because, friends in Christ, we who express Christian viewpoints are at best ridiculed, or at worst we get into trouble with the law. Witness how there was a Christian busker who was performing outside a church, and yet the police officer told him that he shouldn't be there. The officer later had to apologise. The institution of Christian marriage becoming under attack. Children being taught in schools that same-sex relationships are acceptable. Street preachers who are arrested merely for preaching about issues prohibited by the Bible, yet our written constitution is based on the Bible. And children as young as 6 being taught transgender issues. Up in Scotland, if it could happen there, it could happen here. And make no mistake, this is vulnerable child grooming in plain sight, at best, and at worst pushing an ungodly agenda. Christians need a voice now more than ever. If anyone is prepared to consider becoming a candidate for the London Assembly elections, even if it's just your name on a list, or even for the forthcoming general election, speak to me after, or support us in prayer or financially. Again, speak to me afterwards. But it is definitely time for a change. The CPA seems to impact the nation for good. It's time to consider the Christian People's Alliance. Sorry I've run over time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.